I'm going to use this old projector lens to make a space tugboat. You may be wondering why I have so many broken things. It's best not to ask if Aaron breaks them or he finds them broken. It's time for Aaron Does It Wrong in support of Casey Hudson and WorldWorkings.com. This projector will be the thruster assembly, but I want to bulk up the thruster with the tire from a broken remote control car. These were harder to peel off than you'd think, but once off, I'll cut the tire, wrap it around the thruster, and glue it back together. I like the plastic grill section of this concrete mixer for the body of the space tug. As you can see, I'm going to need to remove a lot of material from this grill for it to fit around the projector lens. Being plastic, it's easy enough to remove the parts that are in the way with a file, some wire cutters, and an awl. Though I do have to fit and remove the body several times to make sure I only remove the material that I need to remove. Once I've removed just the right amount of material, I can fit the grill section into place and the body of the space tug is taking shape. One anomaly of my neighborhood is, every year, I find a box of broken toys that someone is throwing away on the curb. Don't worry, these are really broken. This year, that includes the transforming robot toy that I will use to finish the body panels of my space tug. This is easy enough to do as it is constructed by ball and socket joints and some tiny screws that I'll use to secure the track on my model railroad later. You can see that I had to remove a lot of the interior structure for these panels to fit into place. Once again, using wire cutters to remove the material. Now I can start to put panels into place. You can see how much material I had to remove from this piece. With the last panel in place on the bottom of the space tug, I can start to fill gaps in with the rest of the body parts of the robot toy that I disassembled. For example, these are the feet from the robot toy. I want to keep as much of the textured section facing out as possible because this will give me free detailing and I won't have to put on greeblies later in the build. The cab of this plastic concrete truck will be a great piece to cover the central processor and sensor package of the tug. With the body panels fully constructed, I can start to fill gaps. Now I've learned not to use Play-Doh for this because it shrinks and cracks as it dries, so I'm going to try to use my petroleum-based clay for this with the hope that it won't crack. As I fill in the area around the computer core, I'll use my sculpting tools to try to mimic the original detailing from the concrete truck. This remote control car has an incredible suspension system, and I want to use it as a bumper that makes contact with the cargo spaceships as the tug pushes the cargo ships around the docking area. The suspension, to me, looks just industrial enough to show that this is an industrial vehicle. Fortunately, the bottom arm clips right on the main body of the tug. I will just need to figure out how the rest of the suspension arm will connect with the tug. This will provide a buffer between the tug and the cargo ship. Watch how fast this toothpick shoots from the swing arms. Can you guess how far across the room it traveled? Now I can attach the industrial looking boom arm to the top, which changes the orientation of the tug for more precise controlled maneuvers. With the model completed, I can move to painting. I'll start with the standard spaceship white, but I want to put some texture into the paint, so I'll change to a sponge. Though I will still use an old brush to reach into nooks and crannies. I'll texture paint the front bumper pink so that it's highly visible for safety, but I wanted to add some industrial yellow to this model, like most construction vehicles, so I'll paint the sensor housing, the front grille, and the boom arm this color as an homage. Maybe these are lights, maybe these are just brightly colored panels. If any of the events of the book happen in a dockyard, Casey will decide this. Mostly they just show up really good against the white body of the tug. I'm on to the black paint, so you know I'm nearly done. I'll add some strategic black stripes, and because this is an industrial vehicle, it will need some identification markings on the hull. I had always envisioned that these arms would remain a metallic color, so I'll use some of the metallic watercolors I have, but I will seal the watercolors with a varnish. This black line will hide the transition line of the white and yellow, and this is the gravitational anomaly sensor that all Barbadite spaceships use for instrumentation. With the black paint out, I will paint the nozzle. In retrospect, I wish I had painted the nozzle laterally across the grooves and left the gray primer. It would have made the nozzle easier to see in a display shot, but I can also just dry brush some white onto it so you can see it. I will give everything a pink wash. This will pull into the crevasses and in the corner, which will provide some contrast to the model, making the contrast show up better. The front bumper gets the same with the black wash. I decided to build the base of this out of Lego. The final base in this video is close to the final base that I went with. There are 3 layers of overlapping plates to provide a stable structure. You can watch me break the base in early iterations. See, there it goes. But once I get the base back together with the supports that I mentioned, it easily holds the weight of the space tug. Now I can present a Barbadite space tug, used to maneuver large cargo ships in a busy transport hub. Thank you for watching, and please support Casey Hudson at worldworkings.com or on her Patreon. This has been Aaron Does It Wrong.